of our Merry Craftmas series. And as most of you know, I am collaborating with my crafty BFF, Robin Pitts of Sir Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs. And I'm so happy that you decided to join us once again today. And I like to always go over the giveaway rules, which are you must be 18 years or older, open to US and international subscribers, and our international subscribers will receive an online cash payment in lieu of a physical prize, and you must be visible subscribers to each of our channels and leave a comment daily on each of our videos. And I do have a short video linked below so you can verify your subscriptions. And what I have created today are hot cocoa or coffee mugs. I did use a Silhouette Design Store SVG file, and I will link it below. This was a super simple file to assemble, and I think it came together fairly quick. As you can see, I am still doing my traditional and non-traditional Christmas themes. I'm in a couple Christmas swaps, and my partners and I, one of them was traditional and one was non-traditional. Having so much fun working with the Cartabella Home for Christmas and the Prima Christmas Sparkle paper collections. They are both from ASC Craft Supplies, and I'll have ASC, both of their stores, linked below. And if you visit the store, make sure to use my coupon code Michelle10 for 10% off your regular priced purchases. Here, the mugs are two different sizes. This was the original size of the foul. I did choose to reduce it down to this size. I kind of like this one a little better. So I want you to tell me which size you like more, the larger or the smaller one. I guess it depends on how big a coffee or how much hot cocoa you would be having that day. Pull this one here of the Christmas Sparkle in a little bit closer. I love that I was able to get the Merry Christmas on the front. And I just love this paper. And the paper that I chose to use here, the decorative paper, was one of the collage papers. And Frank Garcia, who designed the paper, he has beautiful collages in his paper collections. And here we can see the Jolly Santa himself. And there's the Nutcracker, which we could see the Nutcracker some yesterday on some of the papers. Just beautiful paper, and I love the colors. And this time I chose to use this really pretty, almost a baby blue, I guess, cardstock. And then I used the silver, since we have that silver foiling. The foul has this heart with the steam coming out of it, and I just thought that was so cute, and I decided to embellish that up. I added some holly and little peppermint sticks, and then some of the silver evergreen branches, and then this snowflake in the back, and then I even have a little star tucked in there. And down at the bottom, I have another snowflake and candy cane, another beautiful white glittery poinsettia with the holly leaves and so more of the branches. And then I have a snowflake tucked in right there and there on each side. And then this is a doily that I crocheted, I don't know, for a long time ago, that I put on the bottom of the cup. I've used this really pretty silver paper. And on the back, I didn't decorate it, but I still like to show the back. When I saw this foul in Silhouette Design Store, I really wanted to try it because I liked how it had the lid for the coffee or cocoa mug. I think it came out really cute. And on this one, I chose not to put the heart on it. I chose just to put like that styrofoam snowflake reminded me of a big puffy marshmallow. So I used it, and then I had to put a poinsettia on top just to make it look pretty. And then you just grab a hold of the snowflake and you can pull your lid off, and then it goes back on. And on this one, I added a little bit of lace with some flat back pearl trim, and I just carried that all the way around. And down here at the bottom, I used some of this really pretty glittery leaves. And I do believe I picked that up at the Dollar Tree. And then these holly leaves are from Hobby Lobby as well in the Christmas section. And I have used these for several years. I really like those. And the same thing with the poinsettias. They have them in the two different sizes. And then I wrapped this greenery that had the little red berries. I wrapped that just around the bottom of the mug just for a more finished look. And on this one, you can tell it's quite smaller than the larger one, but I still think that you can get quite a few goodies Or I thought what I'm going to put in the mug is I have picked up some fuzzy socks, and I'm going to put socks in this one. And for that, I think this is just the perfect size. And I didn't put anything in them because I wanted you to be able to see how large they were. And I know I am really bad about of giving the measurements of how large something is. So I have my ruler here so I wouldn't forget. And this cup measures right at 4 inches. And the top of the cup measures right at 3.5 inches. So that's really a good size. So four inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. This one, this is our big, you really need some coffee mug. And it measures 5.5 inches, but it looks so much bigger, I guess because the opening is so much larger, and the opening on this one is almost 4.25 inches, so quite substantial. I think these would make great gifts for coworkers or a hostess gift. Like I said, in this one, I'm going to be putting fuzzy socks. In this one, I was thinking if it's for a crafter, you could get quite a few different little items if you wanted to purchase some stickles or Nouveau drops, or even a pair of scissors would fit in this. Just a lot of little small gift items that would fit in this mug. For a crafter and a non-crafty friend, you could put little hot cocoa packets or even the K-cups with some little treats. But I think they would make a great little holder to give gifts in to friends, crafty or non-crafty friends. And I do have a short tutorial. This cup I did reduce down in size, and the size that I reduced it to when I imported it into Silhouette software, I have the width at 25.213 and the height is 16.957. And what you want to do is when you import it, just make sure everything is still grouped together. And I went ahead and did make myself some internal offset pieces. I wanted some decorative paper plus the cardstock just to make it good and sturdy. And we have what'll be the lid, and the hearts and like the steam goes with the lid, as well as this piece here that goes with the lid. This piece and this one forms your little saucer. We'll put those over to the side. These pieces, these 5 pieces here, form our mugs. So we have our handles, and I did make a little offset for those as well. And this is the bottom. And if you do if you do an internal offset when you're gluing your decorative paper one, you want to make sure you have all of your tabs to the left or to the right. First thing I want to do is I want to bring my art glitter glue in, and I have burnished all of my score lines, and I'm just going to put glue on this tab. And you want to make sure you get some, there's just a tiny little slice right there. You want to make sure you get glue. And then I'm just folding this over and butting it up against that score line. I will bring my bone folder in, and we want to give that a good burnish. And you can see that tiny little sliver of tab right there. And I got a little heavy-handed with my glue. Even for me, I'd rather have it ooze out though. But once it dries, it will be clear. And we want to make sure our cup holds together for whatever we decide to put on the inside. And I'm just going to go ahead and burnish each tab. And I'm just lining it right up against the score line. That forms the cup. And just give it a good burnish. And I forgot to mention, I did take an X-Acto knife, and there are little slivers right there. And I took the X-Acto knife and just cut those out a little bit, so my cup handle would go on here. You can see it better. And you want to do that before you put your mug together. It's just easier. And I did do a dry fit to make sure my tab did fit in my hole. So you want to make sure that goes in, and then that it fits in the bottom as well. Like I said, I forgot to mention that earlier. So just trim those out just ever so slightly so you can get your mug handle on. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these 4 tabs together like we did the first half. So now we have our 2 halves, and this side does not have a tab and this one does. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on both of the tabs. And I'm just putting the side with no tabs over top of the tab. And you want to make sure you have this score line along the bottom lined up. And then I'm going to bend this in ever so gently, and you want to make sure the top of the mug is lined up as well. That looks good. Let me go back down here to the bottom. It did pop apart, so let me get this line back up. You want to just go right up to that score line. And sometimes it will pop apart, but that's okay. We can always go back and adjust it. And we will do the same thing to these two tabs. Make sure the top of the cup is lined up. And we're going up against the score line. And then we'll bend this bottom piece in. There we go. And what I like to do on the bottom is I'm going to put glue on one tab and line this up along the score line and make sure that each corner is lined up with the score line that goes along the side of the cup. I'm just going to hold that till it grabs. And then we will do the opposite side from where we glued. And we'll reach in the mug and we're going to line it up along the score line and make sure that the corners, that corner on our octagon lines up with that seam, and that corner lines up with that seam. And I'm going to flip this over very carefully and just go in with my bone folder and push down. And now I'm going to reach in and put glue. So here's, I'm doing this one here. We've done the top at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'm going to do the 9 o'clock. I'm just making sure it stays lined up because it moves so easily. That looks good there. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to reach my hand in. And I'm just pushing down on that tab. And I'm going to take the bone folder, figure out which one it is. Okay, and then we'll come over here on this side. And I'm going to put glue in the 3 o'clock tab. Like so. And then I'm just going to take the tip of my nozzle and I'm just going to reach in. I'm just ever so gently squeezing, putting glue in there. And we'll go ahead and put glue on these tabs. I'm going to turn it over. So now we have the bottom on our mug, and there is where we'll put our handle in. But first, I want to go ahead and fold these over. Forgot to. So the first thing I want to do is put just a little tiny bit of glue on these little, looks like little teeth. And the first one will go here at our first notch, and the second one there, the third one right here, and the fourth one there. And that will give us our curve. I'm just kind of bending the first three over since I can reach that. Just hold it down till it gets a good hold. And then we'll do this final little tooth is what it looks like to me. And then on this one, I'm just going to fold the teeth down. And I'm going to go ahead and put glue here along the bottom. And we'll just line this up. Make sure it matches up. And we'll go up along the handle. Just going to squeeze them together. And then I'm going to put some glue on the little teeth at the top. And I'm going to put some glue in there just in case it would touch. And I'm just holding this to where the teeth and the top of the mug will line up. Get that in there and flip that one tooth up, and then I can push against it. That looks really good for our handle, and we'll put a little bit of glue in there and try to squeeze it shut. we can put our tabs through our openings here on the side and through the top and on this side. We can get it in there. Okay, I'm just going to reach in and pull the tabs as far as I can. There are score lines along the tabs and they will fold back. So I'm going to reach in and put glue on the backs of the tabs so I can put them up against the cup. So you can see here, I'm going to reach in and put glue on the back. Hope you can see that, where I'm putting the glue and then I'm just going to fold the tabs back like so. And I'm going to reach in and do the bottom tabs. So I'm just pushing those tabs against the inside of the cup. Okay, that looks good. Now we can set our cup to the side. I love how it looks. I'm going to set it to the side and we will bring in our top pieces. And I have the heart that goes on the lid, so they will face each other. And we're just going to put the tabs that I've folded over along, put them through our slits on the top. So I'm just going to put some glue on the tab and then just fold it over. Make sure you have it folded over nicely. And then I'm going to put this other part through the middle tab and then put some glue on it. And then just make sure it's all the way in. There, fold it over. And we will take the steam from the coffee or cocoa and we will put some glue along that tab and fold it over. And my hearts line up. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of glue right here on the outside of the heart. There, and I'm just going to put those flush up against one another. And then we'll do the same thing to the stem of the heart. I just put a little bit of glue along that top and then fold it back. And then I'm going to put a little bit more right here, right along that piece. And that's the top of the cup. And then for the lid portion, I have everything scored and I'm just going to put glue on this tab and you fold it over and line it up, that edge along the score line. And I'm just going to go around and do this all the way around. Glue on the tab, fold it down, go right up against the score line. So that's the lid, and now we will just take and put glue on the bottom of this and put it on top, making sure it's not hanging over, running my fingers around the edge, that it's nicely lined up. Okay, and I'll bring the cup back in and this just goes down inside. Okay, and that goes in the cup. Now we can bring our saucer in. We'll take our tab and put some glue on it and then bring it up together, trying to get the line right up against that score line. Make sure the outside and inside edge are lined up of our saucer. We'll bring in this piece and I'm just going to put glue on the two opposite tabs. I just want to set that down and squeeze like 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And I have lined the inside of the saucer with the score lines of the circle that forms the bottom of the saucer. And I'm just going to go and do 3 o'clock and make sure I'm holding it, that it makes a nice circle. And I'm going to do 9 o'clock over here on this side. Just want to make sure we get a nice circle for our saucer. It's coming together nicely. So I have our anchor points, and now I can just go along the tabs that are in between and fold those, just fold those up against the saucer. So I think it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do the next set of tabs. Where we did the anchor points, then it just lines everything up really well. That's our saucer, and then our cup goes in like that. I think it looks really good. And of course, if you didn't want to do the saucer, you wouldn't have to, but that's what it looks like. I do like the smaller size better than the larger size personally. I want to thank everyone for sticking around and watching my tutorial. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to remind you once again, make sure that you are subscribed to each of our channels and are leaving comments on each video to be eligible for the giveaways. And I have Robin's channel linked below, so make sure to go give her a visit. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.